Hi, I'm Mary Beth Stapleton, Manager of Family and Community Partnerships for Hartford County Public Schools. With me today is Paige Milanoski, who is our Teacher of the Year for 2019, right, Paige?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. So we're here today to talk to parents about how do we manage supporting our teenagers through this time of COVID-19 closure and crisis. How do we manage the day-to-day with our teenagers? And Paige, as a Teacher of the Year, is an expert in that. So how do we help our teenagers with their instruction at home? And so, Paige, just to get us started as a teacher, I bet lots of parents are really curious, like, what's your day-to-day now? I mean, my gosh, before it was kids all day and then grading and lesson planning. So is it the same? How does it work now?
Well, it's really been a huge adjustment. I am a teacher, but a mom as well of 2 preteens. And I am married to someone in education. So it is like a little school here at our kitchen table.
Wow, see, now this is not fair, right? Your family's really at an advantage.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I would say the opposite.
Educators? That's great.
But I'm feeling the struggle both as an educator and as a parent, which I think is really important. It's helping me, I think, try to reach my students in a different way because I can see it from the parent's point of view as well. Our schedule was set up when we first came out of school, and it was flipped 2 weeks ago. So in the mornings, our day is technically supposed to be 8 to 3, which I think is really funny because I feel like my day is more wake to sleep because there's no separate, and that's mainly on me. There's no preparation, there's no drive home. So, when I hear that email ding, I can't help myself. So in the mornings, we do meetings, a lot of meetings with our principal, our whole school, department meetings, for me, it's English meetings, content meetings. I meet with my fellow 10th grade teacher a lot in the morning to talk about what we're going to be planning. And then at 10, we have a planning time from 10 to 12. It's supposed to be blocked for planning and lunch. I find it's just easier to kind of eat while I'm working. It's really hard to separate, but that's also time, if I'm doing anything, that's when I check in with my own kids to see how their schoolwork is going. And then from 1 to 3 is considered our office hours, where students can reach out to us and expect almost immediate, or parents, anyone, immediate communication. And today I have my first set of meetings with students. They can actually video chat with me today. So I am so excited.
Oh, wow.
Really, really excited. I have a whole schedule for each of my classes. So I'm hoping at least a couple kids check in with me today so I can see their faces. Our house.
Did we mention your habit of grace? Did we mention your habit of grace?
We didn't, but that's fine.
Sorry. I realized as you were talking, I'm like, I don't think our parents know where you teach or what you
I'm at Habit of Grace High School.
There we go. Sorry about that.
And I'm an English teacher.
Very good. And what grade?
I do a little bit of everything. My English classes are 10th grade, and then I do the drama classes, which I have 9 through 12, because I have drama 1, 2, and 3.
Wow. Nice. Okay, very good. So you've been doing the teacher meetings, and how about the assignments, like the lessons? How is that coming together?
So we're very fortunate. The county has given us a framework, but it basically talks about the concepts and the key standards they want us to touch on during this time with some suggested texts, but then I have the freedom to create lessons based on what I feel my students need. So the It's Learning platform is being used, which I used quite a bit in my classroom, but now I'm using it in a whole different way. So it's been a lot of learning how to do things on It's Learning, plus familiarizing myself with some new curricular pieces, and then trying to put it all into manageable lessons that aren't too overwhelming. This first week, I really tried to start very small, since my students are just kind of getting used to this process.
Okay. Yeah.
So I imagine that's what
So just to understand, like when we left before the closure, did you kind of just pick it back up from where kids were in their learning?
Oh, no. No, we were just starting a novel when we left, and no.
Okay.
I can't guarantee that novel is at home with all the kids, that they have access to it. So we're mainly just working out of our textbook, which has an online component.
Okay.
So it's kind of like we hit the brakes on what we were doing, at least for me, hit the brakes on what we were doing there and started something else. So that's been interesting as well.
Oh gosh. Okay. But you're still, so when we talk about standards, and sometimes, parents don't always understand what that means. So standards, that's basically like the objective that you're supposed to meet with the instruction. Like what are the kids supposed to learn? What are the kids supposed to learn?
Right. It's a set of standards that we hope they have mastered by the time they leave us at the end of the year. Okay. So it's something like, for me, determining theme, or being able to support an idea with text evidence. Those would be some standards.
Okay. So how are students submitting work to you? Like, how does that go?
Well, I'm trying to be as flexible as I possibly can.
Great.
When I give them their assignments, I've been trying to give them a menu of ways that they can get it to me. So we have It's Learning. They can submit it right on It's Learning, which is wonderful. Or if they are more comfortable, I told each of them to get a notebook or, a pack of paper, something laying around the house. And if they're more comfortable writing everything out and then just taking a quick picture of it and emailing that to me, that's another way that they can do it. But there are lots of Padlets. There are so many resources out there where kids can submit answers right on an electronic platform. So
how many students do you have to keep up with?
Well, I have 135 students this year.
Wow.
So it's been really interesting. My biggest goal as a parent is to keep everyone informed, but try not to overwhelm them. And that's one thing that I hope parents understand. I feel like in my conversations with teachers, every single decision we've been making, we've been asking ourselves, what is this going to look like coming in on the other end, and how overwhelming is it?
Well, and that's something. So in my role as manager of family and community partnerships, I've been assisting with some of the emails and questions coming in on the COVID line. And many high school parents are saying what you just said. So teachers are sending emails with a lot of information. And if you've, how many, I'm just trying to think how many teachers a high school student would have. Probably like 6?
From 6 to 8 generally.
Okay. So they're getting 6 or 7 or 8 different emails, and then trying to manage that. And to be honest, as a mother of a teenager myself, I'm really kind of letting her take the lead on how to really organize that. But in some cases, we have students who might need support on how to organize all of that. So what are, from a teacher's view, what's your perspective on getting all of that organized, all that information that they need to kind of take out of the email and then kind of organize so that they can do the work?
So one of the things I keep asking myself, would it be better for me to send one gigantic email with 5 million pieces of information in it, or small pieces periodically? And honestly, I decided one big one, because that dinging of that email, it drives me nuts. Like, it stresses me out here at home every time I hear that ding. And I can't imagine if you have 3 or 4 children. Wow. And
that's what we're hearing. So I'm really, to be honest, the stress is much higher for parents with not just 3 or 4 children, but 3 or 4 children in different levels.
Right.
So we've got, elementary, middle, and high in some families. And so mom or dad, who might even be working as an essential worker or doing work from home. So my suggestion has been, go ahead and reach out and really just kind of ask for support. I mean, just say,
Right.
how can we streamline this better with those teachers?
So what I've been suggesting for kids and for parents too, some type of a system. I think when our kids get older, and I was guilty of this when this all started, we assume because they're older, they can do this. We think we need to guide the younger kids more. And it depends on your student at home for sure. Both of my children are very good students, but it's overwhelming when that lump comes at the beginning. So first of all, in all of my emails to parents and students, every couple of lines I write, like, just breathe, take it one chunk at a time.
So that reassurance.
Yeah, because it is, you see that big thing and the tendency is to just say, oh my gosh, I can't do it. For my own kids, we've been doing Post-it notes where I have them at the beginning of the learning week, make a Post-it note for each of their subjects, and then just write on that Post-it note what they need to do and what day it's due.
Okay.
My younger daughter, I actually write what day she's going to complete it. And then we cross it off. There is something so satisfying about crossing something off or throwing away that Post-it note. Just give your kids a schedule, because we think they can handle that. But if you think about it, when they're in a school building, there are bells ringing telling them when to stop, when to go somewhere else, when to stop thinking about English and start thinking about math, when to eat, when they can talk to people, when they can't. And now all of a sudden we're saying, here, here's all of this, and here's your bed, and here's your video games. And they're supposed to be able to choose and know, okay, I shouldn't spend 3 hours working on English today because then I'm burnt out for math.
Right.
So I think that's one thing parents could really help with, just timers. It sounds so elementary and silly, but
so like creating your own bell schedule.
Right.
Wow.
And I'm finding so many kids are working in the late afternoon, evenings.
Yeah.
Submit a writing assignment to me at 1:52 in the morning.
Yeah. Because
So,
to be honest, so now they're sleeping later, staying up later.
Right.
So, and you're thinking perhaps to try to move away from that if that's what's happening.
Well, the one thing I worry about, just with my own daughter yesterday, I said, so you set an alarm. She hadn't been setting an alarm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, gosh, and just remember, some of these kids had been waking up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And now,
I'm giving her till 9, which is very generous because she was a 5:45 waker. But I said, if we're going back to school in 2 weeks, you're going to be in big trouble because your whole body clock is just reversing itself. So.
Yeah, but I think the challenge for teenagers is if they're the one who's going to bed at the regular hour, but their friends are the ones who are staying up.
Right.
So if we could get more and more parents to kind of monitor that a little bit more, that peer pressure of, well, I'm up at 1 o'clock in the morning talking, why can't you be?
Right. And if you're working from home or you're an essential worker, it's difficult. I would be well into my day busy and then realize, oh my goodness, my daughter's still in bed.
Oh my gosh, that's happened. Yes, of course. And you're going, oh my goodness, it's 10 o'clock. What's going on?
Right.
Yeah. So, well, these are all good tips and tricks, to be honest. I hadn't even thought about the bell schedule. That's their day to day, right? And that's something.
They're told when to do what all day.
We might not be popular with this idea, though, right? Our teenagers in this county might be, are you kidding me? A bell schedule. So anyway, but so how about for our families that don't have, well, they have a phone, they don't have a laptop. They may have a laptop, the laptop's not working. And of course, you can't run anywhere right now and get it fixed. So what are some thoughts around that?
I will tell you that those are the people I have been thinking about since the minute we came back from school. I worry about my kids that I'm not hearing from. I just worry about the kids I haven't heard or seen their faces, or, I just worry about what they need and how I could be helping them if I could just be with them or be reaching them. I do a couple things that aren't, they're not endorsed by Harford County Public Schools, but like I use the Remind app for my students during the year even. That's been very helpful because all you need is a phone for that. And I can reach out and give them an assignment. Those students are certainly getting packets of work. But if at any point they're near, if they're near someone's device or something, that they can just shoot us an email, one of the students or teachers, just so that we know. At my school, we have a list of kids who haven't been reached. And as one of us reaches them, we update the list so that everyone knows they're okay.
So if there's a bit of a disconnect between a student and a teacher, first things first is, make sure that, we can make sure that they reach out to that teacher, and you are ready to provide, packets or any kind of information that's needed to help instruction without technology, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They, we just want to know they're okay first and foremost, for sure.
Okay.
And I have many students who I didn't hear a peep from in the last 3 weeks. And then when I posted my assignments this week, they were the first to turn them in.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah. So they're hearing me.
Yeah.
They're hearing me. I just need to know that.
So talk to me. Yeah. So when they turn it in, right? So from a teacher's perspective, what does the grading look like now? What is that? How do you do that?
So a lot of that is still up in the air. Right now, we're running a pass-fail system, and students need to show evidence of work. So that is the wording in the HCPS grading policy. Right now, I'm keeping my own spreadsheet of just what student completes which grade. And then if I think they need extra help on something, if I felt they didn't understand a concept, if they did something incorrectly, then I reach out to them to do a little mini lesson with them. It's not the standard percentage like we've been doing in the past. And they shouldn't be checking HACC right now for fourth quarter and expect to see grades, because nothing is posted yet, because HACC is set up for percentages.
So HACC is the Home Access Center.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And so let's talk about the difference between Home Access Center and It's Learning, because I think that's been confusing for some parents. Okay. Because I've heard from some parents that, okay, if I go on Home Access, I'm going to see lessons, or I'm going to see things that I should be working on with my child. And that's not true. That's just for grades, right?
Right. Okay. And in the past, they could see what their student had completed or hadn't completed on HACC assignments already passed. But right now, there's nothing on HACC for fourth quarter.
Okay.
And I don't know if and when there will be. We haven't gotten guidance on that yet. The It's Learning is where, for at least for a high school student, that's where everything is. That's where assignments are posted. I'm posting my lessons. The meeting I'm going to have with my students today, the link for them to hook up to that is there. Everything is there. I'm sending emails as well, as few as I can, but I attach assignments to that too, in case somebody wants to print off of an email if they find that easier. But It's Learning is really where most high school students and parents should be looking right now.
Okay. Okay. And again, if they don't have access to technology, you will figure out with that family how to get them the lessons.
So the last 2 weeks were really, the county was focused on just finding the students who didn't have access. So that's why we were making all those millions of phone calls home that the parents were sick of as well.
I actually was happy to hear.
Well, that's good.
I was a relief.
Every phone call, I felt guiltier and guiltier.
Oh, no.
But so we do have a list of students, like I said, and it's county-wide, that don't have access. So we have a database that shows us that. And if there's a student that all of a sudden I make contact with that previously it said they didn't have contact, I add that so everyone can see that in my entire school. And that's for the whole county. So those students have been flagged already, the students who don't have access to technology, and they had packets sent home to them in the mail.
Okay, great. And that, and you can continue to mail things home if needed.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sending a bunch of hello postcards today.
Yay. So what you're saying is if parents do need things mailed, they would just reach out to you and you could help make that happen?
Yes, and I believe on the COVID tab on the HCPS webpage too, there's directions for that as well.
Yeah.
But again, if they don't have technology, they just have to use a phone.
And I've taken a few of those calls and we've connected them. I mean, first things first, we start with the principal, and the principals have all been fabulous. I mean,
Yes.
they really have responded and been very on top of making sure every single student gets what they need. So that's been lovely to see happen. We just have to remember this isn't the way things were before. And I think that that's the hard part for parents, is that we feel like there's this expectation that, we're going to now be a teacher, and that's not the intention. You guys are there. You're there to support. You're there to provide instruction. It's just like, we provide support for homework. Well, no, right. You're the lead on the instruction. And that's what I think might be confusing for some parents, that they think that they're supposed to take on that role of teacher, but they're really not, right?
Right. And I was saying earlier, I really feel like I'm not being utilized enough. If anyone has a question, and a student apologized to me in an email yesterday about a small question she had. And the first thing, there's no question too small.
Yeah.
Too big. Please reach out if you're confused, both parents and students. If you don't understand my directions or a teacher's assignment or how to turn something in, even if it's the 50th time you've asked, please ask. Usually I'm assessing students face to face. I can tell just by looking at them or looking over their shoulders at their work whether they're on the right track or they're confused. And it's a very helpless feeling as a teacher I wonder, who's struggling right now, who could use my help, and they're not reaching out. And if there's one thing I can convey to parents, I have heard it in our faculty meetings a million times in the last couple of weeks. We're to treat every situation with empathy and compassion. And, I consider myself a pretty strict teacher, and I certainly still have the same level of standards for my students, but also I'm understanding this is not a normal situation.
Yeah.
So we can only help though when we understand what people need. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us and tell us what you need for us. Because
and so part of the anxiety that I've heard from some parents is that they're actually afraid that their child will not progress to the next grade because of the fact that they may feel they fall behind. And that part of it is something I'm hearing more and more over the last week. And so from a teacher's perspective, your intent is to help that child succeed, right? Absolutely. And to help that child move to the next level. That's really your accountability.
Right. Yeah, my name is attached to every one of my kids, and I take that very, very seriously.
Yeah.
And the people who are helping us with our lesson seeds are the past couple of weeks, they've been very, very intentional in saying, what are the skills that these students would have gotten in the next, couple of weeks? And how can we make sure that they're getting them in a different way, but they are still mastering those standards and those skills? And I think it's been very intentional. It's not just a bunch of busy work being pushed out just to say that we're continuing the kids working, for sure.
Got it. Well, that's a relief. Well, we appreciate you as parent. I mean, my gosh, we appreciate you and all the teachers right now. And I think what the bottom line upfront message here is that teachers are working hard. It sounds like, unfortunately, a morning, noon, and night. So yeah, but that you're there, you're available, anything you can do to support the learning. You are really directing the learning is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, we really just want to help. Teachers are helpers, and we have been taking that ability that's been taken away from us. And I think that's the thing that makes our hearts hurt so much. So.
Yeah. No, you're there, and we know you're there. And if there's any concerns or questions, to reach out to you. All right. Awesome. Well, hang in there. I know your workload. What did you say? 135 students? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. So thank you for every single student that you're supporting and all the work that you're doing. And we really just, parents are just really grateful for teachers right now, for sure. And we actually understand what you go through
Yeah.
in a very small way. We're starting to
I imagine
understand.
when we go back, it's going to be a little different.
I know, right? I know. Well, thanks again, Paige, and stay
Thank you so
well.
much.
And
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate you.
Thank
Well,
you.
thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thanks for joining us today on the Parent Academy Real Talk virtual segment on how to help our teenagers succeed. And we'll see you next time. And remember, parents are children's first and best teachers. Take care.